nahihirapan kay Liam Siaco actually sa kakasagot niya kasi ang mga questions kasi ni Justice Lazaro was actually answerable by yes or no. Pero hindi nga niya masagot ng yes or no, and he was trying to defend really the government, especially the Congress and even the Marcos Jr. administration and even PhilHealth, na parang sa kakadepensa niyan, parang mabuti na lang patience ay may patient talaga si Justice Lazaro, kasi kung ako ang nasa posisyon ni Justice Lazaro, baka sabihin ko sa kanya na ano ba, naglolokohan ba tayo dito? Yung sinasabi ng mga justices sa oral arguments nila is a very sacred. Sabi nga nung isang justice, ni Justice Xavier, it's a sacred and untouchable fund, especially the reserve fund. Kasi specific ang gamit niya. Ang gamit niya is for health, at saka lahat ng gastusin na has something to do with the health and welfare ng mga Pilipino, na doon mo siya dapat gagamitin. So, ang tanong, why do you have to reappropriate or rechannel it to something like a tulay when in fact the tulay na pupondohan, may budget na inutang mo? And one thing do, ang tanong nga dalawa.
Apo.
Okay, fine. Mayroon ka, ang tanong, asa na napunta yung inutang mo para sa tulay na yon? Na, okay, pero feeling ko that ang resolution ng Supreme Court would be favorable to the Filipino people.
Yes.
Na kasi si Justice Javier at saka si Justice ko, sinabi na niya, i-overhaul mo ang PhilHealth Board, ibalik ng gobyerno ang 60 billion na transfer nila to PhilHealth from the Treasury, kasi nasa Treasury daw, quote unquote. Oo. So makikita mo ganun ang standing ng ng ilan na justices already. So they will come up with a resolution as a body, and yung resolution na yon ang magiging basihan mo if the petitioner right now, kasi may mga petitioner ka, would file cases against probably certain individual in government, against certain individual in Congress, or even certain agency.
Unahin ko lang muna doon sa second oral arguments. Kasi mamaya meron akong ipi-play na mahalagang punto sa nangyari kahapon. Third oral arguments ata kahapon. Pero dito sa ikalawa muna, ang significant na nangyari po doon, Prof, na nalaman na merong isang proyekto na umutang tayo para mapondohan yung proyekto na yon, yet hindi siya ginamit. Tapos yung pondo galing sa PhilHealth gustong ilagay doon sa proyekto na yon. Ano yung nakikita mo dito, Prof, sa mga ganitong klase ng budgeting? Kasi pag budgeting, kahit nga sa pamilya, pwede ba yung mga gano'n na mahahalagang pagbabudget tapos bigla na lang may na-divert yung budget mo?
Hindi nga ata yan budgeting, ang tawag dyan cheating. Cheating ang tawag dyan. Kasi nga, na-shock din ako doon kasi sinasabi nga, doon sa oral argument, napakinggan ko actually yun, na sinasabi nga niya, may dinajustify ang gobyerno ni Marcos Jr. na kaya kumuha ng pera sa PhilHealth kasi ipupondohan yung isang project na kung saan actually yung project na yon originally, ang ipopondo dapat sa kanya is inutang, at saka I think yung inutang na yon probably, I'm not, that one I don't know kung pumasok na rin yung utang na yon to finance that project sa Kaban ng Bayan. Pero ang tanong kasi ng isang justice dyan is, so kung inutang natin yung pondo para sa project na yan, dapat yun ang gagamitin mo para sa project na yan. So why are you trying to get funds from PhilHealth to finance that project in the very first place, at nasaan ang pondo na inutang for that project na ngayon ang ginagamit nyo ay pondo ng PhilHealth when in fact dapat hindi? So, which is a very, very good question from one of the justices ng Supreme Court, kasi doon mo makikita at doon lumalabas ang mga bagay-bagay na ginagawa ng gobyerno na hindi alam ng publiko. Kasi I don't think this is just one of those many cases na hindi natin alam na mga Pilipino. I think there are other cases na ganon, ngunit hindi na-uncover dahil wala ngang transparency. Ito yung issue ng transparency and accountability ng gobyerno when you talk about finances, and when you talk about ito yung mga transfer of funds from one agency to the other, or from one specific agency to to a project na hindi mo maintindihan bakit ginagalaw ng gobyerno ang halimbawa ang PhilHealth funds kasi transfer mo into something para daw i-finance ang isang project. Kasi ang justification din ng Marcos Jr. administration, especially ng DOF, Department of Finance, even dyan sa reserve fund na transfer na nagkakahalaga ng, may sinasabi silang 60 billion pesos ang transfer sa Treasury to finance unprogram appropriation daw ng current administration ni Marcos Jr. Pero ang tanong, ano yung unprogram appropriation na sinasabi mo? Very specific ba yan? May budget items ba yan? May specific na computation ba yan? Unprogram nga. So, ibig sabihin, it's subject to the, ang tawag dyan, it's subject to the discretion kung sino man ang humahawak ng budget, which is the executive level. So, at ang nagbibigay kasi niyan, well, ang nagdedetermine ng budget, the purse is in the hands of the Congress. So, makikita mo sa mga ganitong oral arguments na ang sa akin kasi ang reaction ko doon is, oh shit, sabi ko. So kung may ganitong nangyari, is this the only one? Is this the only case? Or marami pang ganito, ngunit hindi natin alam ng mga Pilipino? Kasi that's not an issue of budgeting, that's an issue of cheating. Parang chini-cheat mo eh. Chini-cheat mo ang PhilHealth in that regard, yung budget ng PhilHealth in that regard, na ginagamit mo siya sa isang project na may supposed to be pondo naman dahil inutang nga yung pondo na yon. Ngunit gina-justify mo na yung transfer of funds ng PhilHealth doon sa project na yon is supposed to be hindi naman dapat. Kasi nga may dapat na pondo yan. Nasaan na yung inutang mo?
Oh.
Saan napunta yung inutang na para doon sa project na ngayon sinasabi nila na would be funded by the funds of PhilHealth na transferred to the National Treasury to a certain extent. So parang, may ganito? Oh my God. Yung una ko talagang reaction dyan is like, hala, so ibig sabihin, kung nangyari ito, baka marami pang mga ganitong cases na hindi natin alam. Yun.
Sabi nga ng mga netizen, pag na-transfer ba yung pondo para sa kalusugan, lulusog ba yung mga doon sa pagtatayo ng tulay na yun, yung sabi nga eh. Kasi iba yung parang itong intended yung budget sa PhilHealth para sa kalusugan niya ng ating mga kababayan. Ang ganda pa nga ng batas na yun, Universal Healthcare Law. O andun yan po para sa healthcare. Pero nilipat mo siya sa isang proyekto na hindi naman para sa kalusugan na unang-una meron ng budget doon. Bakit kailangan ng magkaroon ng pagbabudget? Di po ba pag gumawa ng proyekto, pinag-aralan na yan, lalo na ito, malaking proyekto itong yung tulay na ito na magdudugtong sa ilang mga lugar dyan sa Western Visayas na kumbaga dadaan ito sa matinding pag-aaral, tapos ito yung isasubmit mo ba sa bangko kung saan ka uutang? Tapos,
saan ka uutang?
Tapos hindi pala gagamitin para doon.
Yun na nga yung doon, yun nga magandang tanong din ng isa sa mga justices dun sa oral argument. Ang sinasabi niya, so nasaan na yung pondo ng project na yun? Kasi that is really true. Wherever you go, may it be in the public sector, on the private sector, kapag uutang ka sa bangko, or even to an NGO, even to governments, ang ginagawa mo is, you will come up with a proposal, at sa proposal na yun, dalawa yung parts ng proposal. Kasi ginagawa ko to eh. Kasi I worked for a long time when I was, kung hindi pa ako nag-aaral sa abroad, marami akong naging trabaho in and out of the country, based abroad, and I was based in other countries kasi for 10 years before I went back to the Philippines. So, din dyan sa Pilipinas, marami akong naging trabaho as a consultant na ako ang gumagawa ng tinatawag mong project proposal ng mga NGOs or even some agencies. Na ang sa project proposal na yan, actually, kaya gumagawa ng project proposal kasi maglalabi ka ng pondo para sa agency na yan or para sa NGO na yan. So usually, sa isang proposal for a project, may it be infrastructure, may it be health, social services, whatsoever, basta project proposal ang pinag-uusapan mo, dalawa yung component niyan. May narrative na part ka, yung narrative explaining the project in a narrative way, at mayroon kang financial component. Yung financial component, you explain kung ano yung pagkakagastusan ng budget in a very detailed manner and specific manner, justifying even every budget items dun sa financial part ng project proposal at may explanatory notes ka pa dyan. Kasi pag nilabi mo yan sa bangko or sa isang agency like for example, Australian Aid or even in a World Bank or ADB. I work with ADB. I was a consultant in ADB for like 4 years. And I am very much aware of all of these things kasi gumagawa kami niyan when I was working in ADB as a project specialist consultant. So alam ko anong ibig sabihin nito. So ang ginagawa mo, detalyado yung narrative, detalyado yung financial part ng project proposal mo para pag nilabi ka ng pondo, makikita nila kung saan mo gagamitin specifically yung pondo na nilalabi mo from them. And that's the only way, kapag na-justify mo lahat, that's the only way for you to get the fund. So ngayon, kung ganon ang specification ng project na tulay, so ibig sabihin, may pondo yan. Kasi kung in-approve yan ng kung saan mo inuutang yung pera, ibig sabihin may pondo yan at very specific ang mga pangangailangan yan. So ngayon ang tanong ko, kung na-approve yung pondo ng para sa tulay na yan na magkakabit sa whatever parts ng Western Visayas, ang tanong, bakit kailangan mo ng PhilHealth Fund? Kasi ang PhilHealth Fund, if you really look at it, kahit nga sinasabi ng mga justices sa oral arguments nila, is a very sacred. Sabi nga nung isang justice, ni Justice Xavier, it's a sacred and untouchable fund, especially the reserve fund. Kasi specific ang gamit niya. Ang gamit niya is for health. At saka lahat ng gastusin na has something to do with the health and welfare ng mga Pilipino na doon mo siya dapat gagamitin. So, ang tanong, why do you have to reappropriate or rechannel it to something like a tulay when in fact the tulay na pupondohan, may budget na inutang mo? And one thing do, ang tanong nga dalawa.
Apo.
Okay, fine. Mayroon ka, ang tanong, asa na napunta yung inutang mo para sa tulay na yon? Pangalawa, ang utang ibinabayaran po yan ng gobyerno. Gobyerno pa rin ang nagbabayad ng utang na yan, lalo na kung kino-consider yan as it's a local debt from a private entity or even if it's a foreign debt coming from other sources like multilateral institutions like ADB, World Bank or even governments. Babayaran mo yan. Ang tanong, sinong nagbabayad niyan? Di ba tayo pa rin mga Pilipino kasi taxpayers money yan? And even the fund sa PhilHealth, bottom line pa rin yan, taxpayers money pa rin yan, or galing yan sa katas ng mga Pilipino. Kasi lahat tayo, even I, nagbabayad ako ng PhilHealth every month. And even as a business person, mayroon din kami contribution kasi may company kami. Ang contribution namin is kalahati ata or mas malaki ang binabayaran namin para sa empleyado kaysa doon at ang empleyado din. So, dalawa. So, ibig sabihin, ang tanong ngayon dyan, nasaan na yung mga pera na yon? Kasi redirect nila yung PhilHealth funds doon eh.
Actually,
So,
itong sa pagbabayad ng contribution sa PhilHealth, Doc, maliban pa ito sa ibinabayad na tax. Hindi lang ito tax kasi kumbaga kinukuha din ito sa sahod mo. Maliban pa sa tax ipinagkatiwala mo sa gobyerno pero hindi na napupunta, maraming question. Pero bago lang si Master Judea, ipaparinig lang natin itong dalawang mahalagang audio kasi audio lang itong ng oral arguments kahapon. Unahin ko lang muna sa pag-play itong paggigisa ni Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Co. Jr. Concerning hinggil sa alignment ng funding request ng PhilHealth sa existing legal requirements related to tax collection kung saan kanyang
purposes of preparing the NEP, the PhilHealth will submit to the Office of the President a budget. Part of that budget is the amount of subsidy for indirect contributors. How much do you ask for and what was the basis for this amount?
Ang sasagot nito ay ang Deputy Treasurer ng ating bansa si Eduardo Anthony Marino.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm not familiar on the exact amount, but in terms of the process, I know I am to the best of my knowledge, the proposal of PhilHealth is well put together with with DOH. So it's a DOH budget submitted to DBM for evaluation.
No, the reason why I ask this, we have laws that allocate funds to answer for the subsidy of government to PhilHealth. Mentioned earlier, syntaxes etc., etc. Do you know the actual collection of government corresponding to these taxes? And if you have computed this amount, do this equal to the amount PhilHealth requested Office of the President for purposes of subsidy for indirect contributor?
Your Honor, I do not have with me the exact certifications from the tax
I need to get an
allocation.
answer to this because this is in relation to the question of a special fund. Yung collection ng gobyerno sa mga taxes, PAGCOR, etc., for the year, ito rin ba ang hiningi ng PhilHealth sa Office ng President para doon sa subsidy ng indirect contributors? For me, it should be the same amount.
I believe our colleagues from PhilHealth or probably DOH would be in a better position to answer this on the exact amounts, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo from the Department of Health.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. To the question on how the PhilHealth computes its request for a budget, it does not refer to the computation on the syntax allocation. Instead, it counts the number of members based on a database. There is a database on indirect members, and then it generates a list. It enumerates the number. The exact number escapes me now, but this is the process. And then that number is submitted, multiplied by a factor, which is the premium rate, and then it is submitted to the Department of
So
Budget
therefore,
Management.
when you come up with your budget request for the subsidy, you don't actually consider the taxes being collected that Congress passed for purposes of subsidy for indirect contributors.
That is correct, Your Honor. The budget is computed based on the need.
So they're not following the law? You're not observing what the law requires?
Your Honor, budget principles require that it's needs-based. If we will follow it based on the projected fund ceiling or availability, it might not match certain needs.
Yes, I agree. It's based on needs. But the problem there is PhilHealth limits the funding so that you don't address the needs, the health needs of the Filipino people. If you increase budget 200%, and I don't think the Filipino would not avail of that. You define your own limits. The Congress allocates budget or collects taxes, provides for collection of taxes to answer for the subsidy of PhilHealth for indirect contributors. Now, when you request money for subsidy, ang ibig mong sabihin, hindi mo papakailam yun? Hindi mo naiintindihin yun? Gagawa ka ng sarili mong formula because you have limited understanding, there's a limited need of our people for health.
Your Honor, the current administration agrees with your observation, which is why this particular case under litigation has been the signal it has been using to increase the benefits. Ang tagal na po, 10
So
taon.
therefore, if the current administration recognize that, very thank you. And therefore, they should bring back the money back to PhilHealth.
Your Honor, the reason why the administration recognized it because for the longest time, the corporation has thought it will always get money because of the guarantee of the
Oh,
syntax.
precisely, whatever would be. Whatever is that. As long as the government recognizes now, it is now incumbent on the part of the government to return the 60 billion that was transmitted already because it recognized now. Hindi lang na-recognize probably before, ngayon na-recognize na. So therefore, when you recognize it, you should return it. What do you think?
Yun ang mga tinig ni Associate Justice Supreme Court of the Philippines Antonio Co. Yung unang sumagot sa kanyang katanungan, yung Deputy Treasurer natin, si Eduardo Anthony Marino, and yung huling sumagot sa kanyang mga katanungan ay si Assistant Secretary Albert Francisco Domingo. Prof, anong masasabi nyo dun sa unang audio natin na pinarinig?
Oh, tama naman kasi ang ina-argue lang kasi ang lumabas kasi diyan sa specific na segment ng oral argument is ganito. Una, bakit hindi sinusunod ng PhilHealth ang batas? Kasi sa batas malinaw na nagsasabi ang batas ng Universal Healthcare Act, no? And the funds for PhilHealth shall be sourced out from the following: First is total incremental sin tax collection. Pangalawa, 50% of the national government share from the income of the Philippine Amusement Gaming Corporation.
Prof,
Ito yung
bago ka pumunta doon sa pangalawa, yung una muna, yung total incremental sin tax, ito yung mga tax na nakukuha doon sa mga sin products. Okay? 100%
yes,
nun.
products like cigarettes.
Oo,
Yeah, that's-
alak.
yeah.
Oo, so lahat na
Alak.
yan, lahat ng
Lahat.
tax na kinuha dyan, pasok agad sa PhilHealth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yun ang sinasabi ng justice. Actually, hindi lang siya ang nagsasabi nun. Dalawa sila.
Oo,
And there was
mamaya,
a lady-
mapapakinggan din natin si Justice Ami Lazaro.
Actually, pati si Javier, actually, they agreed on this, si Justice Javier. So yun,
Yung
una,
pangalawa,
incremental
apa.
taxes. Pangalawa, 50% of the national government share from the income of the Philippine Amusement Gaming Corporation. Ito yung PAGCOR. So imagine 50%. Malaki yon. And another one, 40% of the charity fund net of documentary stamp tax payment and mandatory contribution
Mula sa
of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office.
PCSO.
Ito yung PCSO. Na kung saan yung mga loto-loto, di ba? Diyan
Opo.
yan, di ba? 40% dapat yan. ang
Maraming
charity fund.
maraming nagkaka-milyonaryo diyan. Maraming
Oo
nananalo
nga, asa na yung contribution sa PhilHealth,
Tapos
diba?
D.
Tapos yung isa, yung premium contribution ng members,
Binabayad.
yun. Yung halimbawa ako, nagbabayad ako ng premium, nagbabayad ako.
Employers and employee yung nagbabayad niyan.
Nagbabayad. Dalawa yan, ha? Isa, like for example, ako employee, nagbabayad ako para dun sa employee ko.
May share.
Employee ko. Tapos employee, nagbabayad din. Ako rin, as ako, as a member,
Employee.
nagbabayad ako. That's even outside of the business. Take note of that. So another one is yung annual appropriation of the Department of Health included in the GAA. Tapos yung national government subsidy to PhilHealth included in the GAA. So ito yung mga, kumbaga, ito kasi ang nasa batas ng universal healthcare law na ang assumption kasi dyan, since it's in the law, you actually, wala nang question yan. It's supposed to be like that kasi batas yan eh.
Automatic na.
So wala nang dapat question dyan. Automatic yan pasok doon sa pondo ng PhilHealth. Para i-finance kung ano ang mga dapat, ano yung mga programs and project ng PhilHealth at para i-expand pa ang coverage ng mga Pilipino when you talk about healthcare issues. And even then, to lower the premium. Kasi ang kailangan mo kasi sa universal healthcare na law, actually, ang intention ng batas is darating tayo sa punto na actually wala na tayong babayaran na premium or wala nang babayaran ng mga Pilipino that they can get their healthcare. They can go to, especially even public and even private hospital, na pagpasok mo gagamutin ka, hindi ka kailangan maglabas ng pera. Darating tayo dapat sa punto na yun. Yun naman yung intention ng batas. Kaya nga, ang very defined doon sa batas, ang sinasabi na itong mga to, diretso dapat yan sa PhilHealth. Hindi na yan, ang sinasabi kasi ng mga justices, hindi na yan dapat na sa subject sa sinatawag mong political negotiation. Why do you negotiate something when it's already in the law? Tapos ang sinasabi din nila, why is it that PhilHealth Board is doing its own computation without actually considering kung anong nasa batas?
Ito
Kasi ang dinadastify ni Domingo, gumagawa sila ng computation based on needs. At saka, napakinggan ko yung buong oral arguments eh. Ang sinasabi din nitong mga to sa PhilHealth based on needs, ang kinukompute nila based on the number of membership na nasa database nila. So parang, So, ibig mong sabihin, hindi kayo sumusunod sa batas. Yun yung punto ng mga justices. So, it means PhilHealth is not actually following the law.
Eto Prof, yung pangalawang pagtatanong, ito naman si Associate Justice Ami Lazaro Javier. Okay? Eto, natanong din, almost same din sa naging yung laman ng unang pagtatanong ito. Pakinggan muna natin. Ang kanyang ang sumasagot dito, ang kanyang tinatanong at sumasagot ay si PhilHealth Senior Vice President Renato Limsiaco Jr. At sino pa ba ang mga sumagot sa kanya? Yun lang. Dalawa lang sila dito na maririnig natin na boses. Ito, pakinggan po.
Oo, nahirap si Limsiaco sagutin ang mga tanong ni Justice Lazaro.
Ito,
To the point na dinismiss na lang siya ni Justice Lazaro.
Ito, pakinggan natin yung parte. Almost 4 minutes din to.
So, would you agree that political negotiation is a principal factor in determining the amount of reserve funds to be fixed by the PhilHealth Board?
Your Honor, in the coming up of the approved JAA for PhilHealth, PhilHealth submitted the proposal, and based on the evaluation of DBM,
You know,
it will be incorporated in the NEP,
Yes.
Your Honor. And during the time that it will be deliberated in the Congress, Your Honor, that's the time that on the part of, as mentioned by GCC, Your Honor, political negotiations come in. It is either retained based on the NEP or it will be increased, Your Honor, depending on the appreciation of the Congress as well, Your Honor.
all right. So does it mean that you still negotiate the transmittal of the appropriations fixed by law under Section 37?
Your Honor, we have Section 37, Your Honor, but of course, in the final JA, Your Honor, it is negotiation, Your Honor, PhilHealth, Department of Health, and the Congress, Your Honor, on
You have
what
to negotiate
particular-
it, notwithstanding the clear command of Section 37, that the appropriations shall come from these funds, from these sources. You have to negotiate.
Your Honor, negotiation in the sense that, of course, the Congress asking PhilHealth on its utilization of the previous and the implementation of the program as well, Your Honor. And it is our on the side of PhilHealth, Your Honor, we depend the proposal of the corporation, Your Honor, of course, and that it will be retained based on the NEP or it will be increased, Your Honor.
So the percentages are negotiated, even though they are fixed by law, like 50% from PCSO,
Your Honor,
80% from Syntax. Do you still negotiate, or it should be automatic?
Your Honor, depending on the amount that will be computed by Department of Finance, Your Honor, on the percentages.
You know, the amount is a mere arithmetical computation. We go by the percentages fixed by law.
Yes, Your Honor.
So despite the percentages fixed by law, you know, the actual amount, it's just a computation. So does it mean that Congress is not following the percentages prescribed by law?
Your Honor, in the past years, Your Honor, based on the NEP, it is carried, Your Honor, in the General Appropriations Act.
You know, my question is very clear.
Yes, po.
I'm talking about the percentages fixed by law under Section 37. My impression from your statement is that despite the percentages already fixed by law, the Congress, you still need to negotiate with Congress for the actual percentages that may be included in the GAA for the subsidy of PhilHealth. Is that the reality on the ground?
Yes, Your Honor. We tried to defend the
Yes.
proposal of the corporation,
All
Your Honor.
right.
Yan ang mga tinig ni na Associate Justice Ami Lazaro Javier at ang sumasagot sa panig ng PhilHealth ay si Senior Vice President Renato Limsiaco Jr. Bago lang si Master Judea, komento muna Master Judea. Komento muna,
Sige,
Prof.
sige.
Tawag nito na ako ang nahihirapan actually. As I've said earlier, napanood ko yung buong oral arguments, no? Napanood, narinig ko, napakinggan ko lahat kasi wala namang video eh. Pero may sa YouTube eh, yung kanilang oral arguments. Ako ang nahihirapan kay Liam Siaco actually sa kakasagot niya. Kasi ang mga questions kasi ni Justice Lazaro was actually answerable by yes or no. Pero hindi nga niya masagot ng yes or no. And he was trying to defend really the government, especially, the Congress and even the Marcos Jr. administration and even PhilHealth. Na parang sa kakadepensa niyan, parang mabuti na lang patience ay may patient talaga si Justice Lazaro, kasi kung ako ang nasa posisyon ni Justice Lazaro, baka sabihin ko sa kanya na ano ba, naglolokohan ba tayo dito? Gusto mo ba sagutin ng diretso yung
Ramdam
tanong
ko si
Hindi.
Senior Vice President na pasan ko ang daigdig.
Oo, pasan niya talaga ang daigdig kasi he was really trying to defend Congress, and he was trying to defend the administration ni Marcos Jr. and even ang PhilHealth, kasi malinaw ang tanong. Kasi ang actually, it's a very nice way of trying to get to the bottom of everything, yung style ni Justice Lazaro. Kasi ang nagsabi ng political negotiation na phrase, hindi naman nanggaling kay Justice Lazaro nanggaling kay Liam Siaco. Sabi niya, 'di ba, na okay, may nagsasubmit sila ng kanilang proposal that ayan ay kinukonsider sa NEP, yung tinatawag mong NEP. Actually, ang NEP ang gumagawa niyan ay nagpo-propose niyan sa Congress is the executive level, which is the office of the president. Tapos sa Kongreso dinideliberate, at then dinideliberate yung budget, at sinasabi niya William Siaco, doon pumapasok ang negotiation. Pero malinaw ang tanong ni Justice Lazaro. Ibig mo bang sabihin may political negotiation even if it's already it's already very obvious and glaring na nasa batas yan? The percentages, ano yung mga sinasabi niya? Percentages is 80% ng sin tax, incremental taxes, 50% PAGCOR, yung kaninang binanggit ko, 40% PCSO. So, paano mo ini-negotiate kung may specific amount ang batas? Kasi sinasabi nga niya, mathematical arithmetic lang. Totoo yun. Very simple lang. Like for example, 1,000, halimbawa, ang incremental tax ng sin tax is 1,000. Ita-times 0.0. Ita-times mo lang yung 1,000 times 0.08. And the product, the product of it is the amount of money that from the sin tax incremental, ilalagay mo dun sa PhilHealth. Kukunin mo siya and you transfer that to PhilHealth as funds. Ganun lang siya kasimple. So ang sinatanong niya, so ibig mong sabihin with all of this, ini-negotiate, magkakaroon ka ng political negotiation? Because it's supposed to be a no-no. Kasi ang Congress, hindi mo ni-negotiate dapat ang mga batas na kayo mismo ang gumawa. Kasi ang batas naman saan ang gagaling? Di ba sila? And they should know this. Congress should know this. Kasi sino ba ang gumagawa ng batas sa sistema ng politika ng Pilipinas? Di ba ang legislative branch? Ang legislative branch is composed of the two branches, and that's the Senate and the lower house. And both of them, when you pass a law, dalawang houses, nag-uusap yan, at yun, sinsynchronize yung hina-harmonize yung versions ng mga bill, and then ipapasa mo sa executive level, pipirma ng presidente, batas yan. So they know these things. So why in the hell that you have to go through political negotiation when you talk about a specific provision of a certain law, tulad ng Universal Healthcare Act. So yun yung gustong ipuntuhin ni Justice Lazaro, na ano ba, kaya lang si Liam Siaco, parang pasan niya yung daigdig na parang he was really trying his best, to the point na sinabi na nga lang ni Justice na okay, well, point well taken. Tapos dinismiss ata siya after a while kasi hindi naman niya masagot ng diretso yung mga tanong. Pero tama yun kasi may batas ka na. Hindi mo na, alam mo, kapag may batas at very specific yung batas, hindi mo ka na dapat mag-isip. You just have to execute the law and implement the law. Yun yung very ironic The irony of this is like this, no? Sino ang gumagawa ng batas? Ang Kongreso at ang Senado. Sabihin na natin the legislative branch. The Universal Health Care Act na pinupunto ni Justice Lazaro, saan ba nanggaling yan? Sino ba ang may author niyan? Sino ba ang nakakaalam dapat niyan? Di ba ang legislative branch, which is the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. So, kung alam nyo yan at sa inyo nanggaling yan, why in the hell you have to negotiate it, politically speaking, when in fact alam na alam nyo dapat yan? So, why would you negotiate that? So, yun ang tanong, yun yung bottom line doon Kaya nga ako nung sabi ko, my God, itong Kongreso na i-expose lalo masyado sa oral arguments ng PhilHealth. Pero this is very good. This is, for me, this is really exciting and at the same time good kasi na-i-expose ang mga dapat ma-expose na hindi alam ng publiko. Kasi ito, hindi naman natin alam to na ganito pala Ang assumption natin, actually, ng mga Pilipino is sinusunod nila ang provision ng Universal Healthcare Act. Pero ngayon pa lang makikita mo na even PhilHealth may sarili silang computation na hindi nagko-compute sila based on needs at well, I'm sorry to the Solicitor General kasi napansin ko din doon sa oral argument sinasabi niya based on common sense daw. Kaya rin sila nagta-transfer transfer nila yung 60 billion pesos from PhilHealth Reserve Fund to the Treasury to finance program appropriation ng gobyerno ni Marcos Jr. for 2025. So sabi ko, program, ang mga words dyan na dapat tandaan, program, ano yun? Specifically. And then why would you take out 60 billion when in fact, sacred yan dapat at intentionally, yung budget na yan is for health ng mga Pilipino. Kaya maganda ang tanong ng isang justice Sinabi niya, sa pag-transfer niyo ba ng 60 billion pesos na yan sa treasury, gumanda ba ang kalusugan ng mga Pilipino? Gumanda ba ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth? Ang tanong is answerable by yes or no. Pero yung sumasagot sa tanong na yon ng isang justice, which I think justice ko, hindi niya masagot ng yes or no. At kung saan-saan siya pumupunta to the point na I think na-irritate na ng konti yung justice na nagtatanong. Kasi hindi mo talaga masasagot. Pero at the bottom, I think si Justice Lazaro, si Justice ko. Pero ini-insist nga ng isang justice na sinasabi niya, my question is answerable by yes or no. Hindi mo kailangan mag-explain, yes or no lang. Nabawasan ba ang deficit ng PhilHealth? Gumanda ba ang kalusugan ng mga Pilipino? Nagkaroon ba ng magandang access to healthcare ang mga Pilipino? At saka enough na ba na solusyonan ba ang deficit ng PhilHealth nang transfer nyo yung 60 billion from PhilHealth Reserve Fund to the National Treasury? At the end of the day, sumagot din. Sabi niya, no. So, malinaw. Kaya nga ang suggestion ni Justice ko ata is dapat buwagin ang PhilHealth Board. Kasi hindi nila sinusunod yung batas. Create lang sila. Buwagin or parang something to
overhaul.
Overhaul. O buwagin mo, overhaul. In a way na kasi hindi nila ginagamit yung batas at hindi sinusunod ang batas. At the same time, may sarili silang computation. At saka yung mga words na political negotiation, and at the same time, yung tinatawag ng common sense.
Pero paano yan, Prof, na ang huling say nga doon sa approval? Kasi nandun na yung nagbigay na sila ng proposal, pero yun nga, yung Congress pa rin yung So sila tuloy yung naipit. So dapat kinwestiyon nila, bakit congressman o bakit kongreso, ganito yung budget namin, hindi sumasang-ayon dun sa Section 37 ng Universal Healthcare Law.
O yun na nga ang sinasabi nga. May nagtanong na, I think one of the justices out of the three, I think si Justice Lazaro pa rin ata yung nagtanong, sabi niya, bakit hindi kayo nagtatanong or bakit hindi nyo dinidepensahan o bakit hindi kayo nagkiklaim? Why is it that you're not claiming it? Kumbaga, not exact words. So, pero yun ang punto niya Bakit hindi nyo yan ipaglaban kumbaga? Bakit okay lang sa inyo? When in fact, dapat ipaglaban nyo yan kasi nasa batas yan. Pero sinasabi lang nila na it's ang word na ginagamit din ng mga taga-PhilHealth is nagdi-defend doon sabi niya, based on the appreciation of Congress. Sabi ko, okay. So ibig sabihin, ang impression ko, so ibig sabihin, hinahayaan din nila yung Kongreso at saka yung members of Congress to even tampered on doon sa provision ng Section 37 na tinutukoy nga ng mga justices. Kasi kung based on appreciation lang yan ng mga kongresista, then it's not justifiable because there's an existing law na specifically nagsasabi kung anong dapat gawin at anong dapat mapunta sa PhilHealth. Hindi yan based on appreciation. Kasi pag sinabi mong based on appreciation, based lang yan sa perspective mo bilang isang member ng Congress. But that doesn't mean that you're right. Precisely because there is a law. There's an existing law.
Yes.
So yun. Maganda. I really hope that in the coming, kasi mayroon pang susunod na oral arguments, mas marami pang ma-expose na mga kabalastugan at mga dapat malaman ng buong mundo at ng buong Pilipinas sa nangyayari when you really talk about how Congress determines the budget of a specific agency like
Prof.
PhilHealth.
Yes. Obviously,
very important yan.
I'm sorry. Obviously, Prof, may nangyayari po ditong manipulation,
Money.
Manipulation. Okay. Manipulation. Now, kung mapapansin po natin doon sa oral arguments with the Solgen, Maynard Guevara, yung mga netizens po natin is dismayado po doon sa mga sagot at talagang halata po na pinagtatanggol na lang yung ni Solgen, yung gobyerno, dahil ito po ay kanyang trabaho. Medyo naaawa pa nga yung iba. So now, in this oral argument po regarding dito sa PhilHealth, itong pinag-uusapan po natin ngayon is obviously na meron po talagang mali na nangyayari. So, nakikita na po natin, nakikita na po natin na may mali, nakikita na po natin na may paglabag. So, do you think kailangan pa po ito ipagpatuloy o stop na natin itong oral argument at kasuhan na yung dapat kasuhan? Kasi obviously po, meron po talagang nangyayaring hocus-pocus dito. What do you think po?
Sa akin talaga, very obvious naman na may mali. May mali doon sa pag-transfer ng reserve fund from PhilHealth to the National Treasury, at saka ngayon naka-hold nga yung kalahati, 29.9 billion pa ata ang ita-transfer kasi supposed to be 89.9 ata or 89 roughly billion ang dapat daw i-transfer. So ngayon may naka-hold na 29.9, may na-transfer na 60 billion. Definitely based doon sa dalawang time na nagkaroon ng oral arguments, mali yun. May mali talaga doon. At saka may paglabag sa batas ng Universal Healthcare Act kasi hindi nga sinusunod ang computation na may kinalaman sa GAA ng 2025. Now, as to your question, Master Judea, kung ituloy pa ang oral arguments, I think it has to be, kailangan ituloy siya. Kasi I think kasi mas marami pa tayong malalaman na mga hocus-pocus na hindi pa na-uncover at marami pa tayong makikitang mga diskusyon with the justices at saka yung mga respondents na kailangan natin makita at malaman para makita pa natin lalo kung ano pa yung mga problema na ito'y reflect. Kasi ganito this is just a reflection of one agency. Take note, this is just one agency, that's only PhilHealth. And you have a lot of national agency in the country that probably has this kind of problem pero hindi na-uncover at hindi nakikita kasi walang may alam, walang transparency and accountability, especially transparency issue. And at the same time, walang nagrereklamo kasi lahat ng tao minsan natatakot na banggain mo ang gobyerno. Kasi binabangga mo ang gobyerno sa ginagawa mo kapag nag-file ka ng petition and trying to scrutinize, lalo na when you talk about money and budget at finances. So ito yun. So ako, very important siya para makita natin kung ano pa ang pwedeng makita ng lumabas sa oral argument. At take note, ang mas maganda ditong parang reflection is this is just one agency. How about other agency? May nangyayari bang ganitong hokus-pokus? Now, when you talk about naman filing cases, I think what needs to happen is pag natapos yung oral arguments, magde-decide naman ang Supreme Court. Mayroon silang resolution to this petition. Now, kapag ang resolution ng Supreme Court would say na okay, pero feeling ko that ang resolution ng Supreme Court would be favorable to the Filipino people.
Yes.
Na kasi si Justice Javier at saka si Justice ko sinabi na niya, i-overhaul mo ang PhilHealth Board, ibalik ng gobyerno ang 60 billion na transfer nila to PhilHealth from the Treasury kasi nasa Treasury daw, quote unquote. Oo. So makikita mo ganun ang standing ng ilan na justices already. So they will come up with a resolution as a body. And yung resolution na yon ang magiging basihan mo if the petitioner right now, kasi may mga petitioner ka, would file cases against probably certain individual in government, against certain individual in Congress, or even certain agency. Kasi kailangan mong hintayin yon para kung magpa-file ka ng cases, matibay yung cases mo, I think. Kasi based na yan sa magiging resolution ng Supreme Court dun sa pag-transfer ng funds from PhilHealth to the National Treasury. So definitely, kung kailangan mag-file ng kaso dun sa mga nagkamali, dapat gawin. Pero ang tanong kasi dyan is the willingness ng mga petitioner to even go farther. Kasi ngayon, nasa punto pa tayo na nag-file sila ng petition sa Supreme Court to stop yung transfer. Kaya nga na-stop yung 29.9 billion at ngayon, naibalik ang 60. Pero kapag hanggang dito ka lang, walang mananagot. So pero ang mga petitioner or even concerned citizen, kasi kahit naman sino pwedeng gumawa nun kung would go further. And what I'm saying, go further, ibig sabihin, magpa-file ng cases against those people na may kinalaman sa nangyayaring focus dyan sa PhilHealth.
Kumbaga,
Yeah,
dapat
yun
may
yung tingin
managot.
ko.
Maliban sa pag-question nito kung legal ba ito o hindi, dapat may managot doon sa kamaliang nagawa kung merong makita man. Sabi
Yes,
nga,
dapat. At dapat may
mag-file.
may
Oo.
mag-file.
Opo. Sabi nga ng mga netizen dito, kahit sila nakakaintindi, sinasabi nila dito, okay, i-split lang, wag lang isolo-solo kami. Oo. Wag kaming wag nang isolo kasi nakikita ko yung mukha, tatlo kami rito eh. Sabi dito ni Reynaldo, kahit may yung mga ordinaryong netizen sabi nila mali nga, hindi sinusunod yung law. May percent sa syntax. Wala na dapat na meron pa ring i-compute. Sabi kasi niya dito, wala nang dapat i-compute. Kumbaga, nandun na yung computation. Susundin mo na lang. Magkano ba yung nakolekta mula sa syntax, sa PAGCOR, sa PCSO, nandun na specific na yun, 40%, 50%, 80%, yung mga ganon. So, susundin na lang. Yun na yung computation, yun na yung idadagdag sa pondo doon sa PhilHealth. And at the same time, ito yung pangamba ng iba pa nating mga kababayan. Sabi dito ni Catman, baka po sa Pag-ibig at SSS naman nila bawiin yung mga usual. Pati sa iba pang mga mga nangongolekta na agency na mga marami din mga kinokolekta doon. Baka ganito din yung mga nangyayari. Ngayon, ang nakita pa lang is itong PhilHealth. Yun yung pangamba din ng ating mga kababayan.
Ayun, oo.
Yun na yung sinasabi ko kanina, Admar, di ba? Inuulit ko, this is just one agency. And there are a lot of national agency na nangungulekta sa atin. Yun, tama siya doon. Nandiyan yung, ang SSS is a private, I think. Pero I think it's a state, kailangan i-check kung ano siya ata, quasi or government agency, corporation. Pero may iba pa na nangungulekta. Like for example, yung mga insurance.
Yes po.
So yun. Titignan natin kung ito ba may mga nagintong nangyayaring hocus-pocus. Ang daming national agency under the executive level. So hindi natin alam kung anong nangyayari doon kasi ang isa pa lang na-expose ang PhilHealth. So, yun nga yung importanteng natin, ito nga yung aral na dapat nating tignan. How about other agency? May ganito bang nangyayari? Bilyones ba rin ang nangyayaring mga hocus-pocus dyan? So, yun yung dapat nating tignan.
Opo, Prof, dahil po sa nangyayaring ito na ano pa lang natin yung PhilHealth, baka meron din ito sa ibang mga collection agencies, collection companies na ganitong pangyayari. So now, may kailangan bang ipangamba ang mga Pilipino or anong magiging epekto nito sa mga nagbabayad or naguhulog ng ganyan?
Talagang dapat tayo manghambal. Very obvious naman ang massive corruption sa Pilipinas. Nagsisimula yan sa national budget, which is very questionable. May petition nga against the GAA or /national budget ng 2025. So, at massive naman talaga ang corruption na nangyayari under a Marcos government. So, talagang dapat mangamba ang Pilipino at magtanong kayo kasi taxpayers money yan. Lahat tayo may kinalaman dyan at lahat tayo nagbabayad ng taxes. Except na lang kung wala kang pambayad dahil wala kang trabaho, exempted ka, or except na lang kung ka below 18 at hindi ka pa part ng labor force. But every one of us is paying taxes. So dapat makikialam ka at magtatanong ka kung ito nga lang ba ang nangyayari na to ay sa PhilHealth lang. Marami pang ibang agency na may mga ganitong pangyayari. And at the same time, anong effect nito? Una, ang epekto kasi niyan, when you talk about the integrity and credibility of Congress, of course, in terms of trust and credibility and integrity ng Kongreso, kasi sa Kongreso din yan nakakabit itong issue ng PhilHealth, is bumababa. And in the same time, ang credibility din ng PhilHealth Board at ang trust ng mga members na nagbabayad sa PhilHealth is syempre questionably na. Kini-question mo na, able ba tong PhilHealth Board? Independent ba to? Kaya ba nilang mag-decide on behalf of the Filipino people? Or they are just co-opted by Congress or any politician for that matter na may say at indirectly may say or at the background kung bakit nagkakaroon ng mga ganitong mga pangyayari in terms of using the PhilHealth budget for other purposes which is not intended for it.
Yes.
Kasi ganun lang ang issue dyan eh. So maraming question dyan, but basically it boils down to public trust. Public trust sa PhilHealth, public trust sa Congress, and even at the executive level, and even public trust on the part of the Department of Budget and Management, Department of Finance. Kasi ang Department of Finance sits down as part of the board, I think, of PhilHealth, and even the DBM. I think, no? There are certain agency na umuupo sa board ng PhilHealth, and these are executive level. May kinalaman yan sa Office of the President or the President himself.
Yes po.
Kaya nga, dito sa oral arguments na to, nakakairita pa na, alam mo yon, very specific yung question ng mga justices. Pero lagi nilang pinamumuka, lalo na yung part na ni Justice Lazaro ata ang nagtatanong na, may mga sagot sa tanong ng mga justices itong mga responded na sinasabi nila na, oh no, under this administration, actually, the PhilHealth is very good than the previous administration.
Yeah,
may mga ganun sila na para bang, hey, wait a minute, you're saying this, but you cannot even answer the question directly.
Yes.
Kasi very specific yung question, but you cannot answer the question directly and in a specific manner. Yet you're trying to defend the administration na under Marcos administration, PhilHealth is good and thriving. But at the same time, hindi mo kayang sagutin ng diretso yung tanong.
Yes, Prof.
Di ba? Ano masasabi yun? There is a disjoint. May disjoint doon sa pagsasabi na maganda ang patayo ng PhilHealth under Marcos Jr. administration, but when you're asked a specific question by the justices, you cannot give a specific answer and even a yes or no answer. Kasi kung ano-ano mga sinasabi na parang hirap na hirap, ipipensahan. At nililigaw mo yung justices, but the justices are not there.
Yes.
Hindi sila magiging justice kung hindi sila capable of being the supreme justices at hindi matatalino at alam nila kung paano ka nililigaw ng respondent. Kaya
Yes,
nga,
po.
'di ba? Minsan nakakatawa na para bang ay just ko Lord, parang binobola mo itong mga to, hindi naman ninyo kaya. Diba? Kasi babalik at babalik sa tanong ang mga justices. Ilang beses bumabalik si Justice Lazaro dun sa kanyang specific questions na hindi masagot.
Yes,
Pero
po.
at the end of the day, hindi pa rin masagot. So how would you justify that the current administration is handling PhilHealth in a good way? When in
Yes.
fact, yung mga respondents na galing mismo sa PhilHealth, galing mismo sa gobyerno, ay
Hindi
hindi nila kayang sagutin ang mga tanong na very specific, very basic questions.
Prof,
So yun
Prof,
yun yung kakairita doon nung nakikinig ako ng oral arguments. Yeah.
Yes po. Prof, meron tayong problema ngayon sa PhilHealth, and there's a humor that 65% of the budget of 2025 budget is already out. So malaki po problema natin dito. Malaki po problema natin dito. What did ano po yung magagawa ng ordinaryong Pilipino dito sa mga problema na ito? May magagawa pa po ba tayo kung nakalabas na po yun? May problema tayo sa PhilHealth, kumuha sila ng mga pera, inilipat kung saan-saan. Pero, nailalabas pa nila yung malaking porsyento ng pera ng gobyerno nang wala sa panahon. So, may magagawa pa po ba tayo? Paano po ba?
Ito na ako nag-post din ako nito sa social media ko sa Facebook ko na 65% as reported.
Yes.
Parang na-release na ng current government ni Marcos Jr. Sabi ko, why would the government do that when in fact may petition ka pending in Supreme Court na questioning the constitutionality and even the integrity and credibility of the 2025 national budget or GAA? Why would you release 65% of the budget also when in fact asa ano pa lang tayo hindi pa tayo nasa first quarter pa lang, hindi pa natatapos ang first quarter. Matatapos ang first quarter mo I think by the end of March. Nasa first week of March pa lang tayo. So, ibig mo sabihin, lulustayin mo na ang 65% ng budget mo in the first quarter of this year? Yun yung tanong na malaki. Ang tanong, di magtanong dapat ang mga Pilipino. Ano ang specification ng 65 budget at bakit nyo nilabas yan when in fact we're still in the first quarter of the year? At saan nyo gagastusin yan? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng... Kasi year, ang budgeting process kasi, when you talk about budget, budget. Usually, mayroon kang quarterly budget Even the government will have a quarterly budget. Sa quarter na to, ito yung i-ooperate mo. Sa second quarter, ito. So usually, ang ginagawa, you release probably the first quarter muna. Kasi i-utilize mo yan Pero ang malaking tanong, why would you release 65% of the total budget ng 2025? Kasi kung sinabi mong quarterly, ibig sabihin, that's 25% probably
Yes,
of the
supposedly.
of the year budget, 'di ba? So ngayon 65 and that's even 50%. More than 50%.
Yes.
O ibig sabihin, ang isa ko kasi ang basa ko kasi diyan, minabadadli nila ang release niyan kasi una, may election ka.
Ayun.
Election is coming, midterm election is coming. Saan nila kukunin ang kanilang pamumudmud ng mga akap and ek dyan?
Yes.
Na it's already a legitimized and already what you call legitimized and justified vote buying.
Hindi ba dapat
Naglabas daw ang COMELEC na wala daw mamimigay ng akap. Sabi ko, na-release na nga yung 65 Ubus.
Yes.
Na ano ka na yan? Kumbaga, nandun na yun, nakalabas na yun. Yun, may election kasi. Isa yan sa mga election, alam mo na kung ano nangyayari sa election natin sa Pilipinas. That's one. On the other hand, I think, actually this compromises yung petition na nasa Supreme Court right now. Kasi ang petition sa Supreme Court kasi kapag nag-rule ang Supreme Court na saying na unconstitutional yung budget, there's something wrong with the 2025 budget, dapat ang mangyayari magre-reenacted budget ka. So ibig sabihin the 2024 budget will apply. So how would you reconcile all of these things when 65% has already been out? Pero sa akin kasi ang unang imperative kung bakit nila in-out yung 65 budget, ang isa sa mga tingin ko na reason is because of the election. They need the money, especially the administration side for the election. At mayroon kayong mga akap na yan at saka yung mga ayuda-ayuda na yan is contingent dun sa election, sa midterm election na mangyayari sa May 12.
Yeah.
So yun yung tingin ko. So ang tanong, isuswalo na lang ba ito ng mga Pilipino? Okay lang ba tayo dito? Parang parang ito, harap-harapang lokohan ito that's really the truth of the matter at the moment. So, ito, lokohan Kaya nga sabi ko, hindi lahat ng Pilipino, maluloko nila kasi hindi naman lahat ng Pilipino, maraming Pilipino ang nakakaalam when you talk about these things. Hindi lang makapagsalita. At saka syempre, you are not in power, so ang hirap ng struggle. Pero at the end of the day, dapat kuni-question ito ng mga Pilipino. Ano ang nangyari dyan sa 65% budget release ng 2025 national budget ng Pilipinas?
Opo.
Yeah.
Prof, pasensya dahil wala na tayong oras dito sa ating programa pero marami tayong mga natalakay lalo na yung sa oral argument. Siguro sa susunod na yung mag-best friend na si Trump at si Zelensky pag-usapan natin pag may panahon. Prof, dagang salamat.
Exciting yun.